Take two. No matter how long you've been doing YouTube, sometimes you make mistakes and you run out of disk space on your drive. What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Son of a Tech once again. And today, what I wanted to do was go over with you guys my history on YouTube. We're coming up on 10 years for the oldest video on the channel. And I've actually been doing it quite a bit longer than that. I started out my content creator journey on Justin TV and Twitch.tv, and then eventually moved, of course, over to YouTube. And this evolution is extremely important because what it will show you is that to a certain extent, while there is some luck, actually capitalizing on the opportunities that are presented in front of you is a much better indicator if you yourself as a content creator are trying to be successful. This also applies in other areas within life, in my humble opinion, and you need to be able to make sure that you are looking at things how they are and making the decisions that are going to benefit you, your content creation journey, or your journey in life in general. Let's go ahead and get into it right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is BT Miners. BT Miners has been a long-time sponsor of the channel and a proven reliable source for ASIC miners. If you're looking to purchase ASIC hardware from Bitcoin to Dogecoin miners, they are available for purchase on bt-miners.com. BT Miners is a trusted source by both ASICminervalue.com and CryptoMiner.com. Follow the affiliate link in the description and tell them SOT sent you to support the channel. All right, welcome back. So as some of you may know, I started out the Justin TV and Twitch.tv journey as Blind Run Gaming. Blind Run coming from my gamer tag. That comes historically from me playing Texas Hold'em essentially and going all in too much. And people will call me Blind Run. That's kind of how it is. And I wasn't ever that good at Texas Hold'em either. I thought the name was cool, and so I started to utilize it way back in Counter-Strike 1.6, and of course it was my first Xbox Live gamer tag, and that's where the name came from. In fact, here you can see the original logo for the channel. Now, this particular video is the oldest video on the channel, and it has a very, very strong reason for why it was left on the channel, as well as how it started to direct the channel. Why is that? Because it was a how-to video. And the realization here was that no matter how stupid you think your question is, the likelihood is that other people have the same question. So even if it's as simple as how to plug in a headset, you may want to consider sharing that with the world, because it's way better to have people think you're stupid than to not do anything at all, at least in my humble opinion. What that also does is it starts to give you insight in how to present. It also starts to give you insight in how to lead people, how to instruct people to do things, and it will only be a character building exercise as well as a skill building exercise for you in the future. So when I talk to people that want to start a YouTube channel, my very first thing is like, what do you know how to do? And the thing about YouTube in general that is extremely special is it is geared towards teaching people how to do things and learning. And that means basically, if you want to be a content creator on YouTube in particular, I think the best thing is you have to want to learn about things. And if you want to learn about things and then you can teach people about things, then you learn those things even better. That's why in jiu-jitsu, for example, you can't go to brown belt without teaching classes. You can't become a black belt without teaching classes. You have to teach, because if you teach, you learn better. You learn all these principles better. And that is why I like to teach you guys. This is where it all started. And the video is very simple. The quality is not very good. It's on a 720p webcam, but you know, we got through it. We showed people basic things like how all of the buttons functioned on the actual device itself and how to plug it up into the television for audio out if you wanted to, even utilizing adapters for essentially something that you youngins probably can't even name them down in the comment section below if you know what these connections are. And some of you old guys, I know you're gonna say it already. You already know. Anyways, so here's the thing. is that's where I started to realize that it was all about how to. Now let's talk about where I wanted to go. Well, the path that I actually wanted to take was going down the tech tuber path. This is because I looked up the channels like Linus Tech Tips and Jay's 2 Cents and Tech Syndicate and all of those. When I saw it, I said, I want to do that. So that's what I set my sights on. Here's the problem. I'm going to give you guys like a few steps here that are going to be like key into understanding how the evolution of the channel happened. I couldn't afford all of the GPUs that were available, and especially getting them on launch day of any of these other channels. But instead of saying, oh, I'm defeated, I'll never be a tech tuber, I can't do it, I figured out a way. I'm going to show you guys the website I used right here. It was actually this website called Cutting Edge Gamer, which allowed you to lease GPUs, and I'll leave a link down in the description below. And this is what got me started. The thing is yes, I get it. Don't lease GPUs. It's going to be cheaper to even just put it on my credit card and pay it off over time. Yes, except in this particular case, they have something called the Infinite Upgrade Program. And what that meant was every 30 days, I could upgrade or downgrade to another GPU, which meant that every 30 days, I got a new GPU to play with, to test, and to make videos and content on. So I got to practice, and I got the latest GPUs, which meant while I wasn't having day one launch videos like Linus Tech Tips or Jay's 2 Cents, I was still putting content out there. And the keys here is I started to adjust my content into a niche that would allow me to garner more viewership. And that's what you'll kind of see here, is that as we go through these videos, you'll notice, well, we had the EVGA GTX 1060 Super Clock. We have 78,000 views on this video, and it's from 2016. And all we talk about is overclocking Pascal worth it. We started basically really doubling down on the content. I had these GPUs for 30 days. I had to start doubling down on I couldn't just make one video on it. This also meant that I was utilizing that video card usually in my main system a majority of the time, which meant, of course, that I found issues with it that none of the other tech tubers would find. Whether that was sustained overclock issues or driver issues, etc., which gave me even more content to create, because I could create content from the perspective of somebody that actually utilized the card for an extended period of time. And that ended up working very well early in the channel. I would also do videos, of course, like just benchmarks on one single game between two GPUs. Once I started having enough revenue from the YouTube channel to have 2 leases instead of just a single lease. And that meant I could start comparing and contrasting GPUs. And we would do things, we'll talk about this one in a second, we would do things like get 2 2080s on lease and benchmark them and test it out. People would want to know NVLink performance. Maybe NVLink wasn't something that other channels had gotten to yet. It really opened up the door. Now, were these videos perfect or great at first? No. In fact, like if I show you guys some of this B-roll, it's absolutely awful. It's dark in a lot of cases. It's not shot well. You know, there's a lot of lessons I had to start learning. I think there's some even worse ones over here, right? Like, not really great video, not great B-roll. But if you aren't doing, you won't learn. And then if you don't learn, you can't teach anybody. So that's the entire progression. You have to do, to learn, to teach. That's the way it goes. And that's the way I see a majority of life in general, and in particular this one. And also, look, people are going to give you a hard time. It's going to be what it is. Take all of that with a grain of salt. Take the ones that you know are accurate. Like, for example, oh, your footage is too dark for me. I was like, oh, well, I better figure that out, right? Don't get upset about it. You're going to learn to grow as a human being through this process as well. Now, where did the channel really shift? And that's actually in this video right here called Swapping the RX 470 for a GTX 1060. You can see the thumbnail says sell it. This was 5 years ago, right when the Ethereum boom was happening, and I didn't actually know why the price was going up. All I knew was I could sell an RX 470 and buy a GTX 1063 or 6 gigabyte and still have money left over afterwards, right? So I did that upgrade to my daughter's PC, and then I started to actually research cryptocurrency. So this video is really the reason why I started making cryptocurrency videos. And I started to take everything I learned from making tech content that wasn't necessarily that successful, with some one-offs here and there, and shifting it. And you can start to see the shift. Now, as opposed to in some cases getting 15K views, in other cases getting 78,000 views, and in other cases getting like 8,000 views, you'll notice that what happened with the shift here, and those are all my good ones actually, but you'll notice in the shift here, when we start doing hash rates for the 1080 Ti, for example, we hit 30K views. And then on the Vega, we did 39K views. And what was happening is people were returning to the channel for those particular videos. And then I realized that people didn't know how to mine videos. Remember, there's no stupid questions here. Answer the question, then teach people how to do it, no matter how dumb you think it is. And this is extremely key, because we didn't just say, here's how to mine cryptocurrency and be done and try to do one full video. We broke down every single individual coin and showed everybody how to mine each individual coin. This is what you can basically call both evergreen content and a content generation tool. And as you're doing that, you'll create more questions. You'll start to have questions and comments. Take those questions, answer those questions, and make content surrounding those questions. That is primarily what I do. Let's talk a little bit about the cyclical nature of basically YouTube and content creation. As you guys may know, my channel's not getting as many views as it used to. That's just nature. This happened to me before, actually. After the initial boom back in 2017, 2018, my views took a tank. I only hit like 30K subs, and it wasn't enough to even sustain. I actually let my emotions get too tied to this and became depressed for a while and quit making content altogether. This was a bad decision, but ultimately I did get back in during the bear market, which is why we are here today at 178,000 subs. This doesn't just apply to cryptocurrency. It's extremely obvious in cryptocurrency as a crypto content creator, but it's less obvious and does happen in other content streams, including tech for when releases are happening, and of course, video games for when releases are happening, or if you're making content surrounding one particular video game, maybe that video game goes away completely and has no popularity anymore, and you have to switch games and rebuild back up. The number one thing I've learned is that you just keep doing it even when the chips don't feel like they're falling in your favor. Case in point, of course, is like Voscoin, for example, who didn't quit creating content at all during the past bear market and now has over 500,000 subs. So if you get down, get depressed, that's okay. Make a content shift if you need to. That's the other thing here. A very key point. I wanted to be, remember I set my goal to be a tech tuber, like Linus Tech Tips or, Jay's 2 cents or whatever. But when the opportunity arose and I basically saw that opportunity to become a content creator surrounding cryptocurrency mining, I made that shift. And that shift is what paid off at the end of the day. Thanks for watching. I hope it gave you some insight on my channel. I'm going to get this air conditioner back on because it's hot. Leave the like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you next Tuesday.